Welcome to one of the busiest weeks of my year. Hi, I'm a music teacher and this is my life. Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and welcome to those of you who might be new here. So as some of you already know, I'm a high school teacher. I am a junior choir director at my church. But one of the other things that I do, which is not part of my paid work, it's as a volunteer, and that is to be part of the music ministry at my church through being part of the worship team. So I only direct the junior choir. I am not the music director. The music director is a different person who plays piano, and she also leads the senior choir through their rehearsals and singing whenever there is a congregation present. So in today's video, on the day that this is being posted, it is Saturday between Palm Sunday, which is the beginning of Holy Week for Christians, and Easter Sunday. So on the day that this video is being posted, Easter will be tomorrow. And this is hands down one of the busiest weeks of the entire year, even as a church musician. I know some people might think, what about Christmas Eve? I'd say, what about Christmas Eve? That's busy, but for stuff outside of church. Holy Week specifically as a church musician is incredibly busy. So I'm going to talk all about that week and how much preparation goes into it ahead of time. But before we get started, as always, make sure that you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so that you never miss another video. So I go to an Anglican church, and it's part of the Anglican Church of Canada. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what my specific church does. Some churches might have different times for their services and different traditions, but this is what my church does. So I'm someone who is a church musician, like I said. My church typically has two different services every Sunday, one at 8 in the morning and the other is at 10. The 8 o'clock service is usually a spoken service, which means I, as a musician, do not go to play music to the 8 o'clock. I play music during the 10 o'clock service. And so a few days ago on the day I'm filming, but earlier this week was Palm Sunday. And that is the first service as part of Holy Week. It typically happens at the usual time, so either 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock on that same Sunday. And a lot of people are used to having church on Sunday mornings. The following day is another service. My church was running a healing and anointing service. And while there was music in that service, rather than having those of us who are on the worship team provide music, it was a separate local group of singers, and they were accompanied by our music director who plays piano. And so she doesn't always accompany them, but anytime they're at the church, if they need someone, she's often there to support. So I wasn't directly involved in that service, but our music director was. Then this is where the week gets incredibly busy. So as a high school teacher, some people think, oh, this is nice. You have a 4-day long weekend from Good Friday to Easter Monday. But that's not the case, because as a church musician, we normally on Thursday nights have choir rehearsals, both junior and senior choir. But instead, the Thursday during Holy Week is Maundy Thursday. And Maundy Thursday is a day where there's a special service, and it's typically run in the evening. My church usually runs it around 7 p.m. And during the service, there is a reading and the gospel. There's also communion. But during the service, there is something called foot washing. And it doesn't necessarily mean that there's soap in the water or anything, but it is sort of a retelling of a biblical story where Jesus kneels down before his disciples and washes their feet. And he's demonstrating that to be a leader means to also serve others. And so our priests will do that same thing. There will be assistants to help empty the dirty water and provide clean water. But it's that same idea where our priests will be down on the ground and they will wash the feet of parishioners who choose to go up to the front. I've never gone up to the front, and some don't, but there are some who choose to participate. And it's just the idea of a leader not being automatically superior or any better than any of their congregation members or parishioners, because we're all human beings and we're all seen as equal before the Lord. The next day, which is Good Friday, my church has two different services. There's one in the morning, which is like a family service for a more child appropriate. So maybe some of the gruesome details are told in a way that's age appropriate for children, or maybe younger teenagers, preteens. And then the traditional service is done in the afternoon. And typically the music for that is led by the senior choir, and an anthem is done as well. And so often I'm either playing during the anthem or sometimes even singing. And then the final services, of course, are on Easter Sunday. That is finally the end of Holy Week. And that is also on a Sunday, just like Palm Sunday. And they're often at the usual times. So for my church, that's an 8 o'clock Easter service without music and a 10 a.m. service with music. And with the Easter Sunday service, the junior choir sings an anthem for the congregation. So I'm no longer just in worship team mode. I am in junior choir director mode, where I show up early and have a rehearsal with the kids 45 minutes before the service starts. And then about halfway into the service, I go up and get them from Sunday school. They wear their robes, and then we process down the aisle and continue as we normally do. Now that's just the list of services and some of the days, times, and what they're all about. Now let's talk about how much preparation goes into this ahead of time. So as a junior choir director, we only have rehearsals for 1 hour a week, typically on Thursday evenings. And so because it is such a busy time, and also certain weeks there is no rehearsal, but I'll explain a little bit more about that in a little bit, I try to give the kids the music weeks, sometimes even months in advance, if I know it's going to take them a long time to learn the music. I try to move my rehearsals along in such a way that we spend maybe 5 to 10 minutes maximum on any one piece or song, so that I can keep their attention span while also getting enough detailed work done that the kids are able to learn the new music quickly. So as an example, the junior choir season starts in September, just like the school years do here in Canada. So in September, the kids have a whole bunch of music that they're going to be singing during the services. And some of it even includes Christmas music. Typically, even in October, the kids are already learning some of their Christmas music because Christmas tends to have a lot of music compared to other weeks or other services. And so in this time of year, it being now April, they've had the song that they are going to sing on Easter Sunday since January, because I know that Easter Sunday is a really busy time of year. Now, it comes in really handy that the kids started to learn this Easter Sunday anthem months ago, because for the last 3 weeks, or for the 3 weeks back to back right before Easter Sunday, there's no junior choir. So they needed to have memorized all the words, and they know all the notes, and they're ready to basically sing it for a congregation at the beginning of March. So let's dive into why for 3 weeks in a row right before Easter Sunday, there's no rehearsal. The first Thursday where there was no rehearsal, it was March break. And so they have a week off school. A lot of families choose to travel. And so rather than having a small rehearsal, it's nice to give the kids a March break. It's also kind of nice for me to take one, because then if I ever decided to travel or go somewhere, then I'm not worried about letting the kids down or frustrating any parents. And also a lot of families appreciate knowing I give them lots of time. With lots of advance notice, then they're able to plan all of their trips and so on. The following Thursday happened to be the night that my main job at my high school had parent-teacher interviews. And as someone working full-time this semester, I had to be available for the full amount of time, which meant that there was still a senior choir rehearsal, but I was not present, and I had to cancel the junior choir rehearsal. Now, earlier I talked about Maundy Thursday being part of Holy Week. Holy Week is the week, like I said, from Sunday, Palm Sunday, to the following Sunday, which is Easter. And so Maundy Thursday, there is a service in the area where we normally do our junior choir rehearsal. And even though it starts half an hour later than our usual rehearsal time, everyone who plays as part of the music ministry team accompanies the junior choir, and they are all going to be busy being involved in that Maundy Thursday service. So I had March break, then parent-teacher interviews, and then the Maundy Thursday service. So there was no junior choir rehearsal at all for those 3 weeks leading up to Easter. So sometimes this might mean that they're learning Easter music in January or February. Sometimes they might be learning Christmas music in October, but a lot of advanced preparation goes into this. And so all this to say, I'm going to be so excited when Maundy Thursday, Good Friday, and Easter Sunday have all happened. They're all very meaningful, but a lot of attention to detail goes into this, and also a lot of work. And I'm not even the music director. The music director was part of the Palm Sunday service, the Monday Healing and Anointing service, Maundy Thursday, Good Friday, and Easter Sunday. And she also makes sure that everyone in the senior choir has any photocopied music they need outside of the hymn books. She helps select the hymns. She makes sure that all of us in the worship team, and other than her, there are 3 of us, have binders organized in order, ready to go. She needs to be on top of her game, and she does such great work. But if I'm busy, I can only imagine how much busier she is during this time of year. So with all of that being said, on the day of this video being posted, it is Holy Saturday. There is no church on this day, but that's just a sneak peek into the busiest, in my opinion, of the church year for church musicians. If you found this video interesting at all, be sure to give this one a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, give us a follow on Instagram, and I'll see you back on this channel with another new video very soon.